Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the family that is still living in the Pleasant household or the Pleasant house. It's none of the people that you're used to seeing, so I'm excited to tell you about them. So let's get into it. So here we have the Pleasant household. In this household we have Andrew Pleasant. We have Valdie Pleasant and their child Elena Pleasant. Uh, h- in the beginning of the game, this household is Daniel and Mary Sue Pleasant with Angela and Lilith. Um, as you can see here, they are very much dead. And Andrew is the only boy that those two ever get. Got. Mary Sue in the beginning didn't found out about Daniel's affair with Caitlin Langerak, but so she was still deeply in love with him. Or not deeply, but they fell in a deeper love as time went, and they ended up getting pregnant again. And they finally got that boy that they wanted. Other than that, they of course had Angela and Lilith. And out of a marriage, Daniel also got Skylar Landgrab with, of course, Caitlin. Um, no one knows about her in this family. Like they maybe know her, but they don't know that it is Daniel's daughter. Maybe Mary Sue had a feeling, but I feel like she just would have pushed that feeling away because the family needed to be this strong and have their name out there still. So the Goth and the Land Grabs wasn't the only big families in the game or in the hood. Um, so they when they got Andrew, they put a lot of pressure on him to be very perfect, as they did on Angela. The thing was, Andrew was a very awkward child, so he had a really hard time getting friends, and he got to be enemies with a lot of people, or at least a lot of people didn't like him, and he didn't really like anyone, a lot of other people. So when the two twins moved out, both Mary Sue and Daniel tried to be more nice to Andrew and maybe try a new tactic of raising him. And I feel like that kind of helped because when he went to college, he found Valdie and they fell in love. And now they are living in the Pleasant house together. Um, and he's ready to take the Pleasant name into the next generations further. They of course need. I feel like with Belly, you will get to know her. She doesn't mind they are not getting a boy. If they only get girls, she's fine with that because if the girls really want to keep the last name, they're just gonna keep it even though they get married. I feel like Belly would be quite how can I say modern in that way of thinking. And I feel like Andrew would get that uh, opinion too because of her. She's not like a girly girl, and I feel like that has been really good for him to meet a woman that isn't rich, isn't it doesn't care about being famous or and stuff like that. She's just here and she just lives her life and always done so. But yeah, I will go in and tell you a little bit more about Andrew. So here we have Andrew. As you can see, he's very neat. He's very shy. He's active. He's serious and he's grouchy. And I feel it's the shy and grouchy part that made his childhood hard because he was awkward like that. He didn't really like to talk with people. He found them weird and he wasn't sure how to handle them at all. So in his both his childhood but also teenage years, he never really found out how to really get friends. He were friends with his parents because they, as I said, tried to do something else with him than with the girls. Even more when they moved out to college. As you can see here, uh, and he never really got friends with anyone else. Yeah, Angela when Angela moved back from college, Lily didn't. But Angela, when she moved back from college, um, she helped around with him, and they got pretty good friends. And with that, she got her kid Elias I told you about before, and I feel like that was maybe a good thing for Andrew because then he wasn't the kid anymore. He was a teenager here, of course, and I feel like he was just happy to have the focus going away from him. Um, he already in his teenage years met Valdie. They had their first kiss together, but nothing more really happened with them from there. I feel like she actually liked him and was like, oh, he's nice, he's awkward, but he's cute, right? But I feel like he also liked her, but was like, of course she's not liking me because who likes me? Like he was awkward and didn't really know how to get further with it. Um, she, of course, but because she liked him, they got friends and they kept talking, and it was fine. It was pretty good. But it never really got longer than that at this point, at least. He then met Cynthia Rubin and actually got pretty serious with her. He was sure that she would be like she was quite fitting for her because she had a good control, if you can say it like that. She was maybe a little bit of a control freak, so he didn't need to do much in their friendship. But at some point, their friendship just stopped evolving, and they didn't really get further than this. That's of course far for a teenager, but they didn't go further than that. They never went steady. Um, he fell in love, yes, but at the same time, he also fell in love with Valdie. Um, and that was in college. He was there with both of them at college. um, but it was like Valdie just was more interesting. I think Cynthia maybe tried to be with other people, not like be with them, but she was looking what her options were, and I think she maybe felt that Andrew was a little bit too awkward. But Valley really liked him, so she didn't mind his awkwardness, and they made out. And when he moved back home, it wasn't long before he asked her on a date, and they woohooed. And shortly after that, he proposed to her because, well, he really liked her. And not too long after that, they got married, and she moved in, of course. And they woohooed again. I need to see who he was fighting. I guess this is on a community lot, because I don't remember this. But yeah, they were happily married, and Valley was just happy to be with him. She didn't really care about the pleasant name. It for her it was whatever. It was nice to get into a family with money and stuff like that for her, but it was more nice for her to be with him because he always felt like he was a nice guy, even though he was shy and grouchy. Um, and not too far in the future, they then got Elena. Um, she's a blonde, and I'm not sure why. I guess there is some blonde in some of the families. I don't remember Valdie's, but maybe one of her parents is blonde. Maybe the dad. I actually think so. Yeah. But yeah, they got Elena. Um, and now they are just pretty much happy in the Pleasant mansion, just for themselves, just those two. Um, and I feel like they will keep being this happy couple. I hope so. They really deserve it. I'm happy to see Andrew finally find some peace and normality for himself, and as a place where he actually feels secure, and he feel like the person he is with is actually with him for him and not his money. And yeah, they're just happy together. And here we have Valdie, Valdie Pleasant. She is the daughter of Tiffany Bear and Kevin Bear. Um, I know Tiffany have another last name in the beginning. They are from the New University Hood, and they are one of the some of the Sims from the what's it called, college houses or whatever. But they were got together a long time ago, and they got Valdie and Uber. As you can see, they have a little bit of Vikings names. I guess I watched Vikings at the moment when I played this, when they got born. So they are have a little bit more Scandinavian names, and not that we have those names in Scandinavia as much more anymore. But oh well. So yeah, that's her parents and her brother. Um, as you can see, she is neat. She is outgoing. She's lazy. She's playful, and she's very nice. So I feel like it's so interesting that she really likes Andrew, because he's so grouchy. But I also feel like because she was so nice, that's why they fit so well together, because she just understands him being a little bit weird and shy and grouchy. She's just like, oh, okay, well, you have a bad day, or like she just accepts it. He's never mean to her or anything. She's just caring and understanding for him, and I feel like that's just perfect. Um, she, as I remember it, she didn't. She was always a knowledge sim. No, she wasn't. Okay, I'm gonna see what's her secondary now. Okay, yeah, she was a fortune sim before college. She is from a family that was quite poor. Many of the university people I got in from the beginning was quite poor, because they only had university. But in university, she re-rolled to knowledge, which I feel like fits her better. She of course still wants money, but it's not that important for her, and that also means that the marriage to Andrew was for him and not the money. Um, she grew up pretty well all the way through, with both her and her brother. Even though her family was quite poor, they had a really good family life and they were really happy together. She, of course, had her first kiss with Andrew, and from there it didn't went much further than friendship. She then had a little bit with Noah Langrab, who is, again, I don't remember his mother's name, last name. Um, she went out with Andrew a couple of times, and also Hope, I can see. She was just friends with people. She just liked to be friends with people, and she was happy. When she moved to college, as you know, oh, okay. I didn't remember that. In college, she had a fling with Carter Larson. She apparently fell in love with him, but for what I know about him and remember about him, he is a romance sim, and he probably had some other girls he really liked. So I feel like even though she fell in love with him, feeling falling in love with Andrew just meant more for her. because that was the awkward, shy boy she liked from the beginning. So why not keep being with him? And that continued, and they were together. And of course, that got engaged and married. And they were just happy. And they got kids, and that's where they are now, pretty much. She's a firefighter. If I haven't been good at showing what their jobs is because it's not necessarily important for the specific Sims. Where it's important, I will of course say so. But in my stories, the jobs is rarely that important. It's more the personalities that is important for me. And Andrew, he's architecture. Just and then you know that. But yeah, they are quite happy. I will tell you a little bit about their kid, Elena, now. So here we have Elena. She is a child. She's 2 days away from becoming a teenager. She's really neat, as her mom, and her dad, for that sake. She's shy, which she got from her dad. She's a little bit lazy. She's really playful, and she's quite nice. Um, I feel like she takes a lot from her mother in being this nice kid, and I feel like she would be as nice to people as her mother always been. But she still have this shy trait as her dad. But I feel like because of her dad has found his peace now. So even though he's grumpy, he's always grumpy with a smile, if you know what I mean. And I feel like that has been a good influence on Elena. So even though she's shy, she's still just happy-go-lucky, at least for now. We will see what happens when she get further in life. So yeah, there's not much else to say about her. The mansion or the house more is one of the houses I've kind of decorated. As you can see, I've not been good at it. But I have decorated a lot. I feel like this was in the beginning where I started downloading Clutter CC, and therefore decorating more. But I feel like this now fits this family a lot better. Oh, I guess you didn't see Valdie in her oh, actual clothing. She looks like this. So very relaxed, very cozy, very chill. um, so yeah, this is the Pleasant household now. As you can see, the intense drama is not as big now as it was for 50 years ago. But we will see how it ends up later. That was all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!